Well, I guess I haven't gazed at my navel for a while, and it's not just because I'm fat. It's actually because I'm lazy. Cheers! Welcome back, everybody, to Weekly Navel Gazing, the weekly thing, sometimes, where I look at what I've done last week, and why I've done it, and what I've read last week, and what I plan to read, and so forth. And that's what we'll do now, and then it'll all descend into rambling, as it usually does. So, what did I read last week? I read books. I actually read good books. Isn't that fun? Um, yeah. But before we do all of that, let's talk about why it took me so long to actually do another one. The answer is, of course, the holidays. And Christmas got in the way. And we'll talk about both of these things later on, but for now, what did I read now that Christmas was over? I read several books. I read In Ascension by Martin McInnes, which I absolutely loved. And I read The Saint of Bright Doors by Vajra Chandrasekhara. I definitely butchered that name. I'm really sorry about that. And I did reread I Shall Wear Midnight by Terry Pratchett, which is a beautiful book. And I'm more than halfway through Him by Jeff Ryman. So that's a lot of reading that I'm really happy I did, and they're all good books, and I may talk about some of them in the near-ish future. Now, what do I plan to read in the coming week? Well, I'm going to finish Him. That's going to happen tomorrow, I guess. Then I'm going to, well, I have to read, what's it called? The Screaming Staircase, book one in the Lockwood and Co. series by Jonathan Strout for my offline book club. It's a ghost story kind of thing, probably YA. We will see. That's the one that I'm sure I'll read. I'll definitely read on Friday, on Thursday when it comes out. I will read Machine Vendetta by Alistair Reynolds, which is the third Prefect Dreyfus novel, which are sort of like sci-fi cop stories in the Revelation Space universe. I read the first two, which are The Prefect and Elysium Fire. Well, I read them when they came out, so that's been like ages. But there's a new one coming out, and I'm excited because it's Alistair Reynolds. He's one of the few authors that I usually buy on publication and read as soon as possible. So yeah, that's cool. Obviously, I do love all of Reynolds, and that's I talked about every version last time round, and I did talk about inhibitor phase on this channel. So yeah, probably I'll even talk about this one. We will see. So these are my fixed reading plans. Beyond that, I have no idea. I still want to read Reformations by Carlos Eyre, or Irie. I have no idea how to pronounce the name. It's an academic text on the age of Enlightenment. Not Enlightenment, the age of Reformation, somewhere between 1450 and 1650. It's a book. I'm looking forward to it, just to refresh some stuff and look at the 16th century mostly. That's reading plans for now. There are obviously other books that might come in. There's certainly The Spear Cut Through Water. There's Two Like the Lightning. We will see what happens there. But right now, finish him. That sounds funny. Finish him, read The Screaming Staircase, read um, that Alistair Reynolds one. The question, however, is do I just read Machine Vendetta, or do I also go and reread both The Prefect and Elysium Fire, because it's been almost a decade for some of them, so my memory is somewhat hazy. It might be clever to actually reread those two. We will see. Time is, as always, of the essence here. So let's talk about videos and stuff. I did finish the one thing that was important, that was Christmas. It took really long for the last video to be done, but I did it. And then I did, in fact, also talk finally about The Player of Games, the book 2 in the Culture series by Ian M. Banks. We had a conversation for the read-along all the way in 2023, and I finally got around to doing that video, which also means that I did another reread of Player of Games earlier last week, so I kind of forgot that one in a minute ago. So another book I read last week was A Player of Games by Ian M. Banks. I made that video, and then I also made a longer video on looking back on 2023, talking about some plans for 2024. That came out yesterday, so that's two videos, plus the final Christmas video. Not too bad, really. So the question is, what will happen this week when it comes to videos? And I have no real idea beyond, of course, Discworld. Because, me finishing I Shall Wear Midnight and having the discussion on Sunday means that there will be a video on I Shall Wear Midnight very soon. I'll try to do that tomorrow or maybe the day after. I also need to figure out whether I want to talk about Saint of Bright Doors in a video, or in Ascension in a video, or him in a video, and what to say in those. They're all worth talking about. I feel I have the least to say about Saint of Bright Doors because I lack cultural background to fully appreciate what's happening in that book. I enjoyed it massively. I got a lot out of it, but I feel, yeah, I'm always a bit worried when I talk about stuff that I don't fully understand. So there's that. So these are three potential videos that I might talk about, books that I make videos about. There is, of course, the question of whether I do something about Machine Vendetta once I've read it, whether I should, in fact, do a video each on the Prefect, on Elysium Fire, and on Machine Vendetta. That might also be a good idea. Let me know if you're really interested in that. I mean, I don't know how popular Alistair Reynolds is these days. I've been reading his stuff since forever, basically. So I may be the one person that is not annoyed over at Media Death Cult on the internet that really cares about him at this point. I don't know. So these are videos that I plan to make. There's another video that I really want to make, and that's a video with a list of books. I know y'all have been telling me that you want lists from me, so we'll do one. It'll be a list of books that come out in 2024 that I think are worth my time. I can't say what's worth your time, obviously, but these are books that I think I will read when they come out this year. And I thought, doing one of those videos might be fun, especially since, the ones I have on my list, the books, did not necessarily show up in a lot of the videos that I watched with, highly anticipated reads in 2024. So I figured maybe I'll add my sense so you know what I'm looking forward to in 2024, and then you can decide whether you want to, read some of these books yourself, join some conversations about it, and so forth. I'll try to do that video tomorrow, I guess, or sometime around when I'm not talking about Discworld, I guess. We'll see. These are my video plans for the coming week, roughly. Beyond that, who ever knows? Yeah, I mean, I already said that I got distracted by Drismas. I did the last actual weekly navel-gazing all the way back in December on the 17th or whenever that was. So that's been forever. And then, I spent time with family, and then I had to go through the usual thing, which is I lose track of time and purpose and so forth, even more than usual, during the end of the year. It's not necessarily... I don't even know why that is the case, because, obviously, having New Year's is a completely arbitrary date, and I'm aware of that. I'm even aware of the fact that we did actually have all kinds of different ways of starting years, not in December, so that's something, right? But for some reason, maybe it's because the entire world kind of grinds to a halt around that time. You don't get doctor's appointments, deadlines for bureaucracy stuff don't matter. Nothing really happens during that time, which means I slow down. And the problem when I slow down is, of course, that I start thinking about myself, and that usually leads to me falling into this hole of depression and not doing anything. Now, I tried to cover that by forcing myself to do the Drismas thing, which means reading a lot of Driz books and recording a video every day, in theory. Now, it did not actually work out that way. And that's because, it's a pretty tough schedule to do that, especially if you want to do these books justice, and I want to do them justice. I mean, I think they're trash, but even trash deserves some form of justice, and I wanted to make sure that there's something worthwhile in watching these videos and reading these books. So I took some time, and then, frankly, I just got really, really, really exhausted at some point near the end. With the 13th book in particular, it took me 2 or 3 days to actually record that video, because I'm just so fucking done with these books. So, yeah, I hope that with, doing another one of these weekly navel-gazings now, I'm finally fully arrived in 2024, have left behind everything from last year, and I'm ready to tackle this new year, see what it brings, see if I make any progress in anything, really. At least I got a bunch of books and a bunch of plans for videos for this week. I might even have ideas for the long-ish future. Certainly, I will do another live stream thing, the monthly malcontent thing. That will happen on the 27th. Obviously, that is in 2 weeks. So you can already mark that one down in your calendars if you feel like it. That one I think I'll do on my own. I don't know. Because it might just be too short notice to actually get a guest to join me there. But in general, I will do try to get guests on these live streams at least most months, just to have something to talk to, someone to have different perspectives than just mine. We will see. But you can already mark the 27th as a date to watch in that regard. And beyond that, this is the year where I need to figure out who I am, what I want to do in the larger future. Obviously, YouTube's not exactly paying my bills, is it? So I need to figure out that stuff and need to sort of get myself back together in a way that allows me to succeed, not according to my own standards, but to the standards of the world. And the world is different from me and a bit more demanding. And I'll start by doing the thing that I really don't want to do because it feels like I'm giving in to fucking Jordan Peterson, but I really need to clean up my room and need to clean up part of the apartment because it has gone to rack and ruin, as they say. So there's that. I'm scared of it. But, it's a new year. I'll try to keep chugging along. That's more or less all I have for now. Obviously, I said a lot of general things in that video from yesterday over the last year, so it feels almost obsolete to do one of these videos now. But then again, these are supposed to be weekly, and getting back to the rhythm might be a good start for everything. Anyway, what did you read last week? Did you have fun? What are you reading this week? Is anyone interested in Alistair Reynolds' content? Should I talk about each of these books individually, or do something about the first three Officer Dreyfus novels in one go? Let me know in the comments. I'm very much out on my own here in that regard. I have no idea if anyone still cares about Reynolds, or if everyone is just only reading Sun Eater nowadays, and that's the only the only sci-fi that is allowed to be read, even though it may not be sci-fi, or well, maybe The Expanse. I don't know. It's just one of those things. So let me know what you think about that. Let me know if you have other things that you really want to tell me, and beyond any of that, I guess like a very belated happy 2024, and may it be a wonderful year for all of you. At least we got 29 days in February this year, and ain't that a really cool thing? Anyway, see you around. Thanks for watching. Cheers.